friends, and welcome back. I hope you had a lovely Christmas and New Year time off, time away from the daily grind. I enjoyed my time away so much. Now, I wasn't really away. I didn't really take the time off. I just did something different, and so we'll talk about that in a minute. But first, let me just say, I am Carmen Shank, and welcome to the Almost Daily Show. This is a show where I follow the glow, I follow my curiosity, and I report on what I discover. And that's a lot of fun, and you are welcome to join me in this journey. I want you to know that today's episode is sponsored by the Simplicity Mindset, which is a series of classes held in January and February that walk you through both practical aspects of simplicity, how you do it, why you do it, and the whole mindset behind it that makes it possible for us to find a sense of purpose, and the class walks you through that as well. Finding a sense of purpose, stocking your life to meet that purpose. And you know what? When you do that, it becomes so easy to just let the rest go. You know that question of, do I keep this? Do I need it? Do I not? It kind of eliminates that question altogether. Because all you have to do, rather than asking if it gives you joy, ask it if it aligns with your purpose. And if it does, you'll know. And if it doesn't, let it go. Let it go. Such good, sage Disney advice, but still a good life skill. So we'll talk more about that a little bit later on. But first, let's talk about this house tour thing. I've been thinking about doing a house tour for a while. And today's such beautiful lighting because it snowed and it's bright and there's light bouncing off everything. And so I thought, hey, let's do a little bit of a house tour. Also, I should mention, because I just heard the bells, my husband is an inventor, and he has invented I don't know how many different kinds of chimes and different mechanisms for catching the movement of the wind, different mechanisms for the striker to be inside the chime or on the outside, or just, you know, all these different variations on the theme of a chime inspired by ideas involving the Tower of Voices. Now, Xavier's known for the flag pipes, which is a pipe organ made from glass, and you can look that up at flagpipes.com, Flagpipes, and it is a stained glass instrument with the American flag woven through the design, and first of its kind in the world. Very cool. First glass organ pipes in the world. And I didn't mean to give I know that sounded like an advertisement, but my husband's really cool, and it's really easy for me to talk about him. So, and I think it's probably helpful to understand when you hear those chimes, which I don't even hear anymore, but when you hear those chimes in my videos, it's it's his invention doing what it was designed to do. And I'm so used to it that it doesn't even occur to me until I'm editing the video that they are there in the soundtrack. But you know, you just get used to it. So I thought I would take you through a tour of my house. Well, I thought I'd start in the living room, and the main feature of our living room is this Steinway Concert Grand. It's a piano that belonged to one of Xavier's clients, and when he was looking for a home for it, my husband talked to him, and it ended up being a gift to me for Christmas from Xavier one year. And yes, it plays beautifully, and it is one of my very, very favorite things about the house. I also keep a book with it. We bought this at the time when we had the restaurant, and so people came and played piano for our restaurant guests, and we always had them sign the book. So that's why there's a book with the piano. We've started kind of collecting some rugs, so you can see the pink silk Persian on the floor. It's got some wear paths to it now, but that's fine. It needs to be used. And there's an Afghani rug. We put that on the under the piano for Ella, the dog before Coco. And Coco also likes that rug, so that's where that is. And then also we picked up that rug, just a really beautiful silk Kaleem, at an auction for a little bit of nothing. Loved it. My husband did the copper G-clef, and I bought the curtains, and then I loved that kind of cutout look in the curtains, and so I bought sheets and painted them using the shears as a guide. And then a friend of mine sewed the tops, so we have a wall of curtains. Now, actually, you can kind of tell, but that is the front door. In this house, we don't really use the front door, so it's right there behind the curtain, and I didn't want to have to look at it, so there it is. Now, on this side, we have two pieces of architectural salvage, I guess you would call it. These are parts of a case of a 1880s pipe organ. And here at the head of the bed, you will see, let me see if I can get back far enough you can see this. You will see the other portion of it that we have remaining. This pipe organ is one that was, believe it or not, it was in an old barn, and it was kind of holding up the old barn, and so they literally had to jack up pieces of the barn to get the weight off of it, so that they could get the old pipe organ out, and then they let go of the pipe. When they let go of the barn, of course, it furthered its decline into the dust to dust, ashes to ashes kind of thing. I made this wreath and joy thing this Christmas. Underneath there are two old quilts that had been in that spot, so they didn't go far. And I may, after the Christmas thing is over, I might just put them back. We live in a little 2-bedroom house, and that bedroom is my office. That is the chair. And those two carts that you see there with the two laptops, that's my desk, my office desk. And you can see the sticky notes on the wall are my class that I'm going to be teaching here starting Thursday. So yeah, that's a little peek into that room. And so let's see, I made the wreath. I made that little mini quilt right there, and found this lampshade. Found this lampshade at the Wreath store, and I wove a new cover for it. That was fun. I did the first one I did in color, and then I hated it. And what I really like about it is the texture, that it, when it's dark, it leaves this cool texture on the walls, which I really like. It's too light for you to really see it very well. But yeah, that's kind of a cool thing. I was on a Christmas kick in November, so I made the wreath. I just about fell over, sorry. Just about the only plastic thing in my house is this cool Moravian star. We have some great clients that we really appreciate that are Moravians, and so, and there's a close connection between Moravians and Mennonites, so I'm happy to have just a little bit of light over the piano. It helps when you're trying to read music or something. Rocking chair. This is a rocking chair from my, it's my dad's mother's family. And so it goes back many years. It's got kind of a Mennonite heritage look. I mean, well, it's not just a look. It's a true antique that my grandmother rocked in for many years, and her grandmother before her. And I don't know actually specifically how old it is. I just love the lines of it, and I really think it's beautiful. Bed. We've talked about that before. The cover. I started making a quilt for this bed a while back, and then I realized, we brought a new puppy into the house and it just wasn't going to happen. So basically this is the dog hair covered sheet that we keep on the bed just because we've got a young dog in the house. Dining room looks like this. And let's see, where should we start? Well, let's start with the light fixture. I really love this about this little room. It's just such a fun thing. I found various pieces of it in various places, picked them up at one part of it at the Wreath store, one part of it at an auction, one part of it at a Goodwill type place. And I set about painting all the different pieces and then putting it back together in this formation, and I just really love it. And then last year, when I was decorating for Christmas, I was on a kick of playing with felt balls and making them into garland, and so I pulled that out again this year. And it probably won't go away. I just really like having color there. This is actually, it's a little bit hard to show on the video how spacious this little dining room is, but I've had a number of different incarnations here at the table. And since the tiny house, we could have a much larger table, but I found that when Xavier and I sat down at a larger table, we just felt like we were, it just felt like, what's the opposite of intimate? And so finally I just took the table out of the tiny house and put it there, and it's been the perfect table for us ever since.
I added this other little piece here because when you have a table this small, this is literally a two-top from our restaurant and chairs left over from the restaurant. So very small. And then we keep this little pedestal because sometimes we'll sit down and play canasta or Dutch Blitz or something. And then a while back, I took this little chest of drawers and painted it and put some paper on it. And that's for silver and jewelry. And this is my Christmas tree decorations artwork I did quite some years ago. A little miniature quilt at the top and it's actually a colored pencil piece with a poppy and a butterfly, a flutterby. So, but the color of it is not really showing up. But that is one of my favorite pieces that I've done. And then over here I have a piece from Melody Johnson. This is, I saw this online and I couldn't afford it. And then I was like, you know what? We're just going to have to make it work. So I found the money and I bought it and I showed it online and somebody said to me, which I thought was so perfect, how did she get your soul on the canvas? And so that little painting has been with me in the tiny house and it's here in this house as well. Somehow or another, this plant continues to live. And up here you see I took 2 cones that I had taken the yarn, I had finished the yarn off of those and so they were empty. And so I covered them with pom-poms and that's 2 Christmas trees. One of the things that I really missed about living in a tiny house was having my china handy, having it out where I could use it and enjoy it. And so when it came time to put this old antique bookcase into use as a china cabinet, I really started to discover, because I had picked up pieces from here and there, auctions and thrift stores and stuff, and there's some pieces that have been gifts and some pieces from family. And I was so surprised to find how much there was in common in color and stuff. It seems like my taste is pretty specific. So yeah, there's nothing in there that's really valuable, but it's just really, especially after dark, when you see this thing lit, it just makes me so happy that my thrift store finds and auction pieces that I pick up here and there, and scores from thrift stores here and there, turned out to be so beautiful together. So that was one thing that I missed in my tiny house, is not having a way to have the china not packed away in storage. And so I'm really happy with how that came together. And honestly, you can't see it with all the reflections, but there's handmade paper on the back wall, and that I think really brings the whole thing together. And we took lights when we sold the schoolie. We took the lights out of the schoolie, and part of the lights ended up being in there. So I really like that. And recently I picked up a coffee and tea set at a estate auction for like $17. And so I use the tea kettle every day for my tea, and the rest of them have a home right there. And I don't know if these guys will live, but I just repotted them into there yesterday, so we'll see. They were kind of on their last legs, so this is a hopeful. Hopefully they will survive this time. We'll see. They started to look like they were about to die, so maybe they'll make it, maybe they won't. We'll see. Here we have a cuckoo clock that my parents collected when they were in Switzerland when I was a kid. And here we have a fork that you can get these at thrift stores now and then. I wrapped it in fabric and put a ring on its finger, and it's always been a source of humor for me because I always wanted to be able to say, if you want the bathroom, go left at the fork. So that's the fork. And that, my friends, is the bathroom door. And I painted a little series of these over Christmas and had a lot of fun doing it, and so that felt like a good spot to put them. There's not a lot of light in that little hallway, so they're actually showing at the moment, and I'm really happy about that. And here, my friends, is, wow, where do we even start? So we found this old secretary at the Wreath store for a little bit of nothing. I think we must have paid about $100 for it. I gave it a coat of paint. I've covered it in papers and stuff and did some fun things to it. And this stays up all year. Every Christmas I change it a little bit, but this is my version of a Christmas tree, and no, it does not come down. And that's a painting that I did in high school, believe it or not. Still some of my favorite colors, so it because it's such a good color combination, it's still there. 3 little pieces from some of my favorite people. The top one is Terry St. Cloud. The middle one is Jamie, whose last name is escaping me at the moment. And then the bottom one is Amanda Evanston, which I added to my collection this year. And then in here are all the goodies. You can see that I have a few glasses and a few earrings. And I have added some tiaras to my collection this year. And I was trying to find a place to put some of my headbands and little crafty tiara things. And there's a piece here by Deke Diedrichsen, the guy with a mustache. He's on a piece of plywood, and he just makes me happy. So he's included in this combination of things. Of all the tiaras that I made, that one right there in the middle is probably my favorite. And I also added some feather earrings to my collection this year from an Instagram friend who's taken a class from the same lady I am. And those, and her name is Jessica Murray. And then you see another pair there by Katie Designs, I think, on Instagram. I'll have to go back and look and see if those are right. But yeah, there's a lot of earrings in there by a lot of different people, and myself included. And Wire Wrap Girl on Instagram has done quite a few of them. And yeah, love me some bling. I do. This, it looks a little bit like a dream catcher, but those are actually pipe organ pipes, and my husband made that, and we were going to sell it on Etsy, and I did offer it for sale, but then I realized I couldn't quite manage to part with it, so it has a home right there. And sometimes I bash into it, and it has this interesting kind of, I don't know, what would you say? It's not a wind chime, but it kind of has a cool clanking sound when I come around the corner a little sharp and bash into it. So this is the bathroom, the only room in the house that has not been renovated. And no, I ain't showing you. It is awful. And I am a mad collector of essential oils and some other stuff I didn't know anywhere else to put. So yeah, not particularly pretty, although that part I think is pretty. And I like having them in alphabetical order. They are organized in a way that works for me. And so this is my little the aromatherapy corner, I guess you would say. And then this section where the thing holds down is my makeup collection. And so that I sit there with a mirror and do my makeup each morning. And what I really love about it is that it's so compact. And I can't collect more because, you know, it's full. So I have kind of de facto become a bit of a minimalist, much more minimalist about makeup, and that's a good thing. I wanted to show you a series of paintings that I did over the Christmas break, and the only room in the house that is not renovated is the bathroom, which is behind that turquoise door. And the benefit of having an unrenovated room means I can go in there and splash paint, actually in the shower. It keeps me from getting paint on anything else when it's too cold to just go outside and splash paint. So all of these splashes happened in the bathroom in its pre-renovated state, and I'm good with that. And I just hung the ones up there, and that's so making me happy because it's got all the vibes, all the Melody Johnson vibes. Because look, this, don't they go together nice? I mean, that's the inspiration for a lot of the work I do, just because I love the color combination. Can I get a witness? It's a beautiful thing. At least it suits me very, very well. I think my favorite aspect of this room is the way it looks after dark. I love the different details. I love the different colors. And just the joy of it all. It's just not too serious, you know? Thank you for joining me for a tour of my living room slash bedroom slash music room slash dining room. Thanks for joining me. I also would mention that I have a class coming up that I want you to watch out for. It's called the Simplicity Mindset, and I go over simplicity how, simplicity why, and the purpose of it all, which I think is the most fun part, to really talk about sense of purpose and how if you stock your life to meet your purpose, it becomes so much easier to let the rest go. So watch out for that. You can get a free ebook at thesimplicitymindset.com, and I'll put a link in the description below for that as well. So that is coming in January, and I don't want anybody to miss that because it's going to be rock solid. It's going to be amazing, and I am so looking forward to it. So thank you for joining me today, and I'll be back with more of the house tour because there's another whole maybe 3 rooms to show you. So thanks for watching. I really appreciate it.